My husband bailed on his daycare pickup, so I let them call CPS on him.
Ring, ring. Hey, you forgot your kiddo here.
My husband has always expected me to pay 50-50, but he never did his fair share of chores and childcare. Eventually, I got fed up and I told him we should trial separation, likely leading to divorce, mostly trying out logistics. This was me trying to convince him to pull his own weight, otherwise I'm out. Anyways, he said he would want 50% custody. So I told him if he seeks 50-50 custody, he should expect to pull his weight.
Ooh.
I told him we can divide for 1 week for him and 1 week for me. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Separate 11, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Boom, boom, boom.
And I'm Carly.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Keon.
So OP says, we're currently doing it as a mock house swap. Whoever has custody would live in the main house. Whoever is not would live in the apartment. The apartment must be cleaned at the end of the week before the swap, or else the new person can hire a cleaner at the other spouse's expense.
Ooh, I like this game.
So far, I've had to call a cleaner almost every week when moving in. But more importantly, his daycare has called me on several of his days to pick him up because dad was unavailable. It's almost at least once a week. I told him he needs to hire a babysitter or nanny to pick up our son on days he can't do it and not rely on me. After the 8th time or so, I told daycare, go ahead, call CPS. He was extremely mad I did this. I told him if he can't handle actually having custody, he shouldn't demand it. He's a high earner, and child support would easily be $2 to $3K per month. Help me think of a reasonable solution or middle ground. We have some relevant comments.
All right. Number 1, get full custody.
Yeah.
2, make him pay for child support. And 3, take him to jail because he did neither of those first 2 things. Or didn't do the child support thing. So that's my thought.
Definitely don't give him any custody. He's gonna forget your kid.
And just like imagine if the kid wasn't around responsible people.
If he wasn't left at a daycare, he could have forgotten him anywhere and it could have turned out very badly.
Dude, that kid could probably become a chimney sweeper for all we know. He's just out there sweeping chimneys, trying to make a dime.
Are those still a thing?
I feel like in
Britain.
Okay.
In
or
Britain.
like old cities.
Yeah, like
Yeah, makes sense.
Great Britain.
Sure. Commenter 1. What you should do is keep a calendar of the times he has not picked up the child and keep screenshots of when the daycare calls you and why. CPS getting involved now could negatively impact you in the court system since there's nothing on paper. OP says, true. We do have texts and emails with the schedule written clearly. Commenter 1 says, that won't really matter to a judge in a family court that's overseeing child neglect cases with CPS. They will look at you and ask why the heck you didn't pick up the kid when you were fully capable of doing so. OP says, I was at work. I schedule myself to work 16-hour days when I don't have him, and I work 4 to 6 hours on the days and weeks I do have him. Commenter 2 says, what is your goal in this? From here, it sounds like you are trying to scare him into trying harder in your marriage at the expense of your son's stability. If you want a divorce, find a good lawyer and follow their advice to the letter. If you want to save your marriage, find a good therapist and follow their advice. For the love of all things, leave your son out of it. Document, yes, but pick him up when he needs you. Trying to manipulate him with CPS calls, a looming threat of child support, will not end well for anyone. Your son most of all. OP says, no, I am tired of him and wanted to leave him. If he wants custody, I want him to be a responsible parent on the days and weeks where he has our child. I want him to prove he can handle his requested 50% custody. I don't want to do 50% custody, but in reality have full custody. He can just pay child support then. And we have a downvoted commenter. Being a high earner and a reliable child picker-upper doesn't really go together. At least it hasn't since the dawn of time.
Who the
They
heck?
usually pay someone for that. I'd say just get yourself a nanny and let him pay for it.
Well, that's his responsibility. If he thinks he's got to handle that. I agree with that comment in a way where he needs to pay for it himself. She shouldn't do that. That's crazy. What?
Yeah. I mean, she did say, if you can't pick up our son, hire a nanny to do it.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I have custody. I can do it.
Well, then you got to line that up, dude.
Yeah, no matter how rich you are, that's not an excuse to be
Yeah.
responsible for your kid.
There's more to this downvoted comment,
Oh
though.
my gosh. Can we skip it? You know what? Whatever.
You were wrong to even try for 50-50 like that if you don't bring 50% of the income. If you do, just hire someone. The logistics of children's needs aren't bargaining chips for saving your marriage. That wasn't cool to weaponize their care in exchange for your marriage. You're unhappy? Get out. But don't do this type of thing. I don't say this to belittle you in any way. I say it to get you back to reality. For whatever reason, legitimate or excuse, he's been either unwilling or unable to meet your needs. That just means you have to adjust your expectations, and he can just tell it to his maker when this day comes. This man does not have your standards of cleanliness nor anxieties of picking up the children on the dot. So make arrangements and get his cash in court. Don't frustrate yourself with this nonsense. I see why you're downvoted, dude.
Not OP's husband, 134.
Yeah, no relation to this child.
That's his
456.
username. Yeah.
OP says, I'm not really trying to save our marriage. I'm trying to obtain full custody. He will fight for custody, and if he was able to care for our toddler, I'm totally fine with it. But he can't request custody and not actually have custody. We're trialing separation because we're trying out a house swap idea. I also want documentation that he's unable to take custody. Commenter 3 says, wait, does he out-earn you and still wanted 50-50 with his actual effing wife? Or do you also make similar money? Why did you move for separation if you have the funds to rent a whole second apartment? You didn't think to hire a cleaner or nanny first? I mean, without answering those questions, it sounds like you should be collecting proof of his inability to do his fair share, and then let a divorce lawyer get you primary custody. I wouldn't ever involve the feds or state in my child's life just to prove a point. You need to knock that effing crap off right now, because you have no court order protecting you from CPS's wrath. You're operating on a trial basis with no judicial oversight. If CPS is called, they'll ask, yeah, but you're the child's mom and you'd rather call CPS to prove a point rather than take care of your own child? Gosh darn it, this is effing diabolical on so many levels. You clearly hate this man more than you love this child. And OP says, we used to make the same, started off around $300K after kids. I cut my hours and his career kept growing. He now makes $500K plus, excluding bonus, and I make $100K as per diem. Making $100K is not enough for a daycare nanny and cleaner by myself. I don't hate him, but I don't think he's fit to be a primary or equal guardian. If I kept calling out randomly from work because he's not willing to, I'd get fired. Then I'd be really screwed. We have an update. I'm not gonna lie though, I do fully agree with the comment saying that you should not bring CPS into it, because I've seen CPS come to for kids before and they will just go after her. When I was a camp counselor, we watched CPS get called on kids for kids.
What?
Yeah. And they will immediately just go to the other parent. So
That is crazy. I mean, dude, also making that much money and not taking care of your kid, you kind of already see where their priorities are.
yeah. She could totally get custody though from a court thing, and I feel like,
She get good benefits from it.
girl, you're making
Just-
$100K. Where do you live that's not enough for you to take this child and run?
Well, she said it's not enough for a nanny,
No,
daycare,
but, right, okay.
like to take care of all the
You don't need a
kids.
nanny and daycare though. You just need the nanny.
She said nanny, cleaner, daycare, which makes
Okay.
sense. That
Clean your house.
trying to pay
put
3
your kid in
salaries.
daycare.
and yourself.
I was
so,
in daycare for full days. I turned out cool.
debatable. Wait, you were in daycare?
I was a daycare kid, yeah.
Yeah, it shows.
But we have an update. We're in a trial separation. He wants half custody. It's been several months, and it was the 8th time daycare has called me because he was unable to pick up our toddler. Sometimes he was just a no-show. And the daycare would call me because it was already half an hour past their official close time. Every time, the daycare is pissed at me for making them stay overtime. And we're charged $2 per minute of being late. They threatened to call the authorities and CPS if we keep doing this. I tried to explain the problem, but the daycare doesn't care, as they shouldn't. Well, last week it happened again, and I told daycare to go ahead and call the authorities and CPS. My soon-to-be ex-husband showed up an hour late and met our toddler there with the cops. Daycare also threatened to punt our toddler out. Again, understandably so.
We're you out, kid. You can't come back here anymore.
The poor kid got banned from daycare.
You're done.
My soon-to-be ex-husband was so mad and said I was a cruel mother for abandoning our toddler. I told him I warned him multiple times in the past, and issues only arise when he has custody. We switch each week, trialing house swap too. I told him repeatedly, if he cannot get out of work reliably, he needs to hire a babysitter or a nanny, and he cannot rely on me as his primary backup. I'd get it if it was like once or twice a year, or if babysitter or nanny plans fell through. But if I'm his ex-wife and he has custody, he shouldn't depend on me as his primary backup. I also felt bad about leaving our toddler, but if we separated, this would only keep happening. And I felt short-term pain might be worth the long-term gain. I feel bad our toddler is caught in the middle, but was I the a-hole for letting daycare call CPS? We have some relevant details. We're both high-paying jobs, but I intentionally do not schedule myself to work late on days I have him, or I have a nanny or babysitter ready. Now, with the trial separation, I have cut down to half time. I work half days on the days I have our toddler so I can spend time with him, and work long days on days I'm child-free. He has made no changes in his schedule. Commenter 1, please be careful that you don't screw yourself over with this. Yes, your soon-to-be ex should have consequences for failing to care for your son by not picking him up from daycare during his parenting time. However, you may not be helping yourself on the upcoming custody battle by telling the daycare to go ahead and call CPS. Instead, go pick your son up every single time and document it.
That's what I was gonna say.
OP did say she couldn't because her job would fire her. But if she's willing to hire the nanny for those off weeks,
then why not
have one on
personally-
standby?
I just came into the story, so I don't really know the full context. But I feel like she should hire the nanny because it'd be different if they were like divorced.
Yeah.
And had a set custody agreement. That would be different, because then she could be like, legally not, like, he's got custody, I not supposed to be doing anything there. But I feel like right now, when it's just trial separation, everything that she doesn't do is gonna like be marked against her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
so I
no.
feel
No,
like
I
if she
fully
could afford a
agree.
nanny, do it every day, and then you can just be like, yeah, I paid for the nanny because he wouldn't pick her up
Right.
Yeah.
or pick him up.
Yeah.
You
I paid
just-
for someone trusted to be there because you were slacking.
Yeah.
Ask the daycare to call your soon-to-be ex before calling you and keep a record for you of how many times he has to be called because he is late or no-shows. Use that documentation of your soon-to-be ex irresponsibility in making sure your child is cared for and get full custody of your son, limited visitation, and full child support. OP says, I'd lose my job if I kept calling out in place of him. Commenter 2 says, how will you manage your work commitments if you get full custody? The current situation is clearly not working and it's negatively impacting your child. Your husband is unlikely to get better, so you need to think of a new plan. OP says, I'd use child support for a part-time nanny. I have a stay-at-home mom friend right now who I pay to get my child if my day runs long. Would be abnormal because the weeks I have had him, I only do shorter days. I'm done usually by 2 p.m. But she's there as my part-time nanny to help me out if I run late. Her kids are older. Commenter 2 says, unfortunately, your husband is almost certainly going to keep being unreliable. So I think you need to look at what aspects of that plan you can implement now while you get the legal divorce in motion. Once you get CPS involved, this could spiral out of your control in very bad ways, and refusing to pick up your child could look really bad for you if you get an unsympathetic caseworker or judge. After all, if your child is sick, someone needs to pick them up even if you're working. You're ultimately still responsible as a parent. OP says, if I'm working and I have custody, I make arrangements and plan accordingly for just in case, as I always have. His backup plan is me. He's not a bad dad when he's around, which is why if he wanted 50% custody, I'd be fine. But I don't want to just wait around as his backup plan. If I don't have custody, I'd work or travel. If I have custody, I'll be present. But what I will not do is not have custody but sit on my butt waiting to be his on-call nanny. I still think that she just needs to like suck this one up. It
Suck it
sucks
up
that
for a
she
little bit
shouldn't have to fill in for this, but if you want that ultimate goal, you gotta suck it up.
Look it up, document it, and then soon enough, he doesn't have to pick up the kid anymore because you're going to be picking him up.
Yeah.
Or, hot take, you also not want to pick up your kid.
Right. Because I'm kind of like, you really want full custody, but then like every other sentence is you being like, but I can't be on call. But if you have full custody, you're on call. Like they
Yeah.
just said, if your kid gets sick, they're gonna call you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I think her argument for that is just like, I would have child support.
Right. So just set that up now, though.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes.
And someone says, why is the trial separation necessary? Opie says, trial separation was suggested by couples therapist and a divorce mediator was involved in structuring planning the schedules. Why was the husband late to pick up the son? His clinic ran late and he didn't want to cancel the appointments. But honestly, it doesn't matter because he expects me to drop my work, find coverage for my job to pick him up when he runs late. What happens if OP gets the full custody of her son? Can she change her schedule? OP says, I don't work crazy hours on the days I have him. If I had him full time, I might adjust my contract or switch my job. Switch to either 7 to 3, Monday to Friday, mommy track or exclusively work nights, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., and have a nanny at night because I wouldn't miss out much since he sleeps at 8. OP on her husband's job. OP says he's a surgeon, but I'm not going to say the specialty because it would be bad for him and me if he got doxxed.
Okay.
We have update 2 almost 1 month later.
Sir, don't operate on my brain because you're a bad father.
Right, like
I
he's
will-
late to pick up his kid because surgery's running late.
Well, but like,
Sir, don't operate on
yeah.
my brain because
It's,
you never pick up my kid. And
To-
you'll probably forget to take the stencils out of my brain.
to be clear, like, he does not have any excuse in terms of like, he should hire a nanny, but like, it does make sense that he can't get out of the surgery. But
Right.
like, you need to have someone to pick up your kid.
Yeah. And he needs to set that up, but he's
Yeah.
not. And he's expecting
Well, I think-
OP to do all that. And
I
it's
think
ridiculous.
he's still operating under the impression that they're married because they're not officially divorced.
Yeah,
Probably-
no, I agree.
Was still in surgery when they had that conversation.
No,
Yeah.
babe,
Like,
I'll
we're
get
gonna do
to
a
it after
trial.
this. I'm just working.
We're gonna do a trial separation.
his
Oh
phone.
yeah, I need to separate this real quick. That's what he
Aye.
was doing.
Update 2, almost 1 month later. Not too much to update, but after talking to our lawyers and mediators, it was decided I'll be moving back to our old home with our toddler in another state and resume my old job. We moved less than a year ago for his career. I will have primary custody. He has proven he cannot handle custody. We have agreed on an amount of child support, approximately $4,000 a month. He'll keep our current house once we leave and take on the mortgage. I'll keep our old home after the tenants move out. We are set to move back in 2 months. His lawyer advised him to accept these terms because I have clear documentation of him failing to fulfill his parental obligations, evidence that suggests alienation and career sabotage, and he's lucky I'm not seeking compensation for that. To answer some questions, I did not call CPS. The daycare called the cops, not CPS. I was scheduled to work on the weeks that he was supposed to pick up our toddler. I did choose not to scramble to get coverage to pick him up, as I was already in trouble for spontaneously leaving every 2 weeks on his weeks to cover him. In addition, getting coverage would take 30 plus minutes and then another 30 minutes to get to his daycare. Yes, I could have problem solved and asked my friend to pick him up, but I did not. Yes, the daycare knew about the trial separation and knew it was Dad's day. But since he wasn't coming, they called me. My old job still has needs, so I'll resume there. Most days are 7 to 3. But there will be some 12 to 24-hour shifts in which I'll have an au pair, we used to have one, and I'll have family around, my mom and siblings. We had moved away from my family, so my mom can help me with occasional pickups if needed. By the way, we'll always pick you up with full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. It's like daycare for them. They've just got all these episodes to watch.
This is daycare for you guys.
Yeah.
Easy.
We'll just sit you down and put the TV on.
Yeah, just watch us.
I will say, though, that last little bit from OP did make it sound like she really just wants someone else to take care of a lot of it. Like, the way
Yeah.
that she was kind of talking is just like, oh, my mom will be there. Like, I'll have, like, all these other different things that still weren't her, really. Like, I'll have an au pair. I'll have my
Yeah.
family. Like,
Yeah.
it's still not fully seeming like she wants all of the custody.
I will.
I
Also,
get needing
yeah.
help, though.
I
Yeah.
will say also that she said that she could have gotten someone to pick up her son. Like, she was like, yeah, I could have scrambled and got someone. I honestly think you should have.
Right. I think in some senses she's not sounding the best on those lines. Still better than just leaving him, though. but
Agreed. Weird. So weird.
we have a little bit more, some relevant comments. We have a downvoted commenter. 4K a month is ridiculous. No child needs 4K a month to be supported. OP says, in 2024, we spent approximately $80K on childcare, not including food, diapers, medical bills, etc. That was a figure we used to estimate. That's with 2 parents. If split evenly, that would be $40K each. But since he's not parenting, he's paying more than half. Daycare plus au pair plus occasional night coverage. In 2024, we were both working full-time. He was younger then and bonded well with our au pair, so I didn't mind working more. Now he is asking for me, so I'll return to my old job at part-time. Edit on why we need so much coverage. We're dual physician home. We take call. We call emergency calls too. We work nights. We work weekends. We work before daycare opens. We work after daycare closes. So we had daycare 8 to 5, 4 days a week for most of the care. Au pair for the mornings and the evenings outside of daycare hours. And he stayed home Fridays with the au pair. So they're both on-call physicians. We had a night nanny because I worked a lot of nights to avoid missing out being with him. X was on call essentially 365 days a year. Every night I worked, we had a night nanny as backup in case X got called into work, which is $250 a night.
Dude, you guys getting ripped off.
Commenter 2 says, I don't know. I would love to get his side. You sound spiteful and vindictive. OP says, his lawyer literally said to not take me to court. I'm letting him off easy. Commenter 3 says, if you have to take a pay cut to make this happen, he should also cover the difference. OP says, I took a $250K pay cut. That's why his lawyer is like, shut the F up and take it. Why didn't OP's ex hire a nanny to pick up the kid? Ask him. Good question. Actually, I suspect I know the answer that he hasn't said. I suspect he was trying to trap me. He got another job in another state away from my family, which makes me have to change job, cut my hours, resulting in $250K income cut on my end for his to grow. He probably wanted me to keep playing traditional wife. Commenter 4 says, you're still an a-hole for allowing your son to be put through that, which probably scared the crap out of him. OP says, maybe, but even if I tried to pick him up, I'd still be an hour late. Because daycare called after 5 p.m., it takes over 30 minutes to get coverage, and then it'll take around 30 minutes to get to him. And he wasn't scared. He was hanging out with his daycare teacher, which is justifiably annoyed. OP clarifies on how many times her husband had been late and how she had to pick up her son. No, he was late for much more than 11 times, but I picked up our toddler 8 times on the weeks he had responsibility. Worse than forgetting is knowingly neglecting. If I know I'm supposed to pick up my kid and I did not do so and assume someone else will rearrange their schedule to do it, is worse than, oh, it was my turn? Sorry, I forgot. 8 times is not forgetting. Also, I didn't call CPS. Daycare, not me, called the cops, which triggered CPS to be involved. I already scrambled to get coverage to pick up our toddler 8 times in a few months, all on his weeks. Doing it more was jeopardizing my job and career. He schedules his work schedules however he wants and expects me to pick up the slack, which is not how it works when you split custody. His weeks are his responsibility. My weeks are mine. That's the end of that.
I'm not really getting the vibe that you want to be the full-time caretaker here. You're saying he's not there whenever he plans to be, but you can also expect him not to be there.
Right.
Picked him up 8 times. Shouldn't you also be thinking, oh, I'm going to have to pick up my kids 8 more times if he's not going to be scheduling it?
I know she thought in her head it was just showing how bad he was, but it's also kind of showing how you're also not stepping up more.
Yeah. If you know your husband can't do 50-50 and you're putting him in situations where you expect him to do 50-50, you got to do 100%. Thus, you will get full custody. And that's what you're trying to get, but it just doesn't make sense how you're getting there.
Yeah.
My father is trying to dictate my wedding, and I want to take control of it.
It's your wedding, your choice, your rules.
I, 35 female, and my boyfriend, 35 male, are both divorcees. We've been together for a while now, and recently found out I'm pregnant with twins.
Congrats.
Currently 7.5 weeks. Exciting. This wasn't planned, obviously, but since we both wanted kids and we conceived naturally, even with PCOS, we decided to keep the babies and plan to marry soon. By the way, this comes from small ad 2952, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And I'm Carly.
And OP says, we had planned to get married under the Special Marriage Act, SMA, since neither of us is inclined towards traditional religious weddings. He is Hindu and I'm Sikh. We wanted a simple court marriage followed by reception only. However, my dad is constantly nagging me to get married immediately through a traditional Hindu and Sikh ceremony. He's already very upset that I got pregnant out of wedlock and thinks waiting even one more month for the 30-day SMA notice period is too much. Every conversation with him turns into emotional manipulation and pressure. He's actually happy with everything, but worry that if I delay it more, and in case my boyfriend backs off later when things get serious, then I will have to deal with harsh consequences as I'm already a divorcee. I love my boyfriend and trust him, and I understand my dad's fears as well. But to be honest, that can happen even if I am married. And that's when you just say, okay, dad, okay.
That sounds like life.
Yeah, he keeps talking to you. You go, okay, dad, you're right. My in-laws to be and my mom are very supportive. Everyone is happy that we're going to become parents, except my dad, who is constantly nagging me about everything. Ever since I broke the news, he isn't talking to me properly. My boyfriend and I are on the same page and want to wait and do this the way we had planned, but the constant pressure from my dad is starting to wear me down. Is there a way to deal with this without escalating things further or caving into something we don't want? Additional details and comment from OP on how they met. OP says, out of all places, we met for the first time on chess.com. LOL.
Is that the first time we've ever had that?
Yes.
That's insane.
We have added each other to our friends list around 3 to 4 years ago and used to play chess almost every day. One day he messaged me on chess.com asking if I was free to play that time. That day we ended up chatting a bit about the game and slowly we started discussing more and more about every match we played. The chat message feature on chess.com was annoying and sucked a lot, so I gave him my Telegram ID so we could continue our conversations there. We mostly talked about chess and some other hobbies at first, but slowly we started talking about other off-topic stuff, random things. Finally, even after almost 6 months of chatting, we both didn't even know we were of the same age or in similar life situations, even the same city. We used to talk casually, but I always enjoyed talking to him. I really liked how he always respected boundaries and never asked any personal questions, and he eventually made me feel very comfortable with him. After 2 years of chatting, I finally gave him my Instagram. Dang, he was playing the long game.
He was literally playing chess, not checkers.
Truly, yeah. And last year, we eventually started meeting in real life and dating too. Then you're having a baby. Crazy.
Wow.
I'll start with Jess.
My heart to C4.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Checkmate. Comment 1. Why not get married as per your dad's wishes? It is only a small, harmless request. What? We sometimes make issues out of non-issues. That's a crazy comment. Why not just get married the way that your dad wants? It's only a small thing. Why don't you shut up?
Yeah, shut up.
OP says, I don't know why, but my dad and father-in-law want to do typical Hindu Sikh wedding, which we aren't keen for. I'm not in that headspace to go through all that again. I just want a simple court marriage followed by a reception. Comment 2 says, no one is wrong here. Your dad is impatient, but he's actually very right. Being a girl dad of twins myself, my daughter's well-being will always be my first priority, whether they are 5 or 35. I am not saying anything against you, but your dad's concern is very valid. After all, you will have to bear the consequences. Also, you are very privileged to be in the spot, TBH. I mean, wow, such supportive parents, good in-laws, finding love again in life, pregnancy. You should keep calm and count your blessings and ignore your dad's taunts. Congratulations for marriage and babies. Having twins is awesome. Hope you'll enjoy every bit of it. Who are these commenters?
They're very...
Who are you? You're weird. Comment 3. First of all, congratulations. I suffer from PCOS as well, and I'm going to turn 30 this year without any partner. So your post gave me hope as well. Secondly, I understand your dad's concerns very well. A pregnancy out of wedlock is still highly frowned upon in India, so his concerns are valid. Can't you have any type of religious wedding with just your immediate family? I'm sure it will be a great relief to your father. Why are all these comments like, just do what your dad says?
Wants?
Did we think about that?
Like, you should just respect your dad's wishes.
I think you can just do what your dad wants.
You're
so
not
easy.
You're not an adult. You can't do whatever you want.
These commenters are weird. Comment 4, being a divorcee myself, I understand that you don't want a traditional marriage with a huge gathering. At the same time, I understand your father's concern as well. Being a divorcee itself in the society is a stigma of its own, and getting pregnant out of wedlock is a bigger one. I'm not doubting your boyfriend, but your father is worried that in case he or his family backs out, what's going to happen to you or your child. I'm sorry. If he backs out after, like, do you think that he can't just back out late, like after he gets married? Like, what if he's like, I really want to be here.
Like a blood contract, and he will literally get
like, for
sucked into
anyone
a
who's like,
dimension.
oh, well, like divorce is also frowned upon. He's already a divorcee. He clearly doesn't have any, like, not that he should have. My point is just like the logic of being like, oh, well, if you trap him in marriage, then you're good. So just get married before he changes his mind.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows the consequences here, but there are no consequences. It's just like,
this is so
we
strange.
have kids. We have twins. It's coming.
Caitlin says, did they say they're in India? I suppose some of this makes sense now. I have a feeling it's very cultural. Absolutely. Like, I understand why the dad's saying it. I just don't understand why the comments are saying it too.
Yeah.
Sanita Thomas says you guys don't understand because you're thinking of it from an American perspective. Again, like, I'm not trying to say that this isn't a cultural thing. I get that. I just don't understand why all the commenters are also agreeing with the dad. Because OP, if whatever OP wants to do, that's the right answer.
Sure, they're like, they know. Like, they're aware.
OP's already, like,
they've been through this
a divorced
before.
woman.
Yeah.
She's already been through the stigma. She knows what is going to happen if she does this, and it's her choice.
And she just wants a low-key thing. She doesn't want to go through the whole craziness of a huge wedding.
Red Bull Rana says the comments are probably also from India.
Which makes
Probably.
sense.
If this is what they're saying, because weird. I understand that there's a 30 days of cooling period in SMA. However, if you can, then I would suggest that you get married to take that thought off your father and father-in-law's mind. You can say that you're okay for traditional marriage, but the number of people needs to be limited, and you can call the near and dear who are genuinely happy with your marriage. And when the cooling off completes, also get married in court through SMA. I know after divorce, all the big wedding and ceremonies seeming meaningless, but in the minds of parents, these traditions make a marriage pious, and you can't fight with that thought. Yeah, these commenters must be.
They don't really have to be.
They must be all from, the same culture.
And I think father is coming from a place of like, I'm worried. Like, I want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and which is totally okay.
Which is why I don't think that they should just cut him off. I think she should just do Dakota Happy Baby.
I think it's just like, Dad, it's okay.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. I think that's
I know you're doing this out of love. Yeah.
And the commenters are always saying the solution is just do what your dad wants, which OP should do what she wants. Like, again, yes, she will have to worry about societal, like, stigma and stuff and, how they will view her. But again, she's already gone through that.
Yeah, I think she knows that.
Like, I just think it's kind of infantilizing to be like, she doesn't know what she's getting into. Like, she's an adult. She's been through it before. If this is what she wants to do, I don't think that, her father should have the final say. Comment 5, a simple ceremony in a small temple and Gurudwara. Make a small card, take photos and go and register at the registrar office. Everyone gets what they want. Won't burn a hole in the pocket too. Kids will have wedding pics to see. And there is an update, folks.
Yeah,
Let's just get into it.
Yeah, I think we've said our piece.
Yeah. OP says, just wanted to share a piece of my heart. Tomorrow, I'll be getting married for the second time. After going through a crap marriage, emotional abuse, and a painful divorce that shattered my whole self-worth and self-esteem. After a lot of work on healing, I thought maybe love just wasn't in the cards. To be honest, I was living my best life post-divorce. I had grown a lot in my career, had supportive friends and parents, everything was going good, but there was always a longing for someone. I silently yearned for a partner and a family of my own. I tried my luck again on AM matrimony too, but after disappointment, I kind of lost hope altogether. Still, life was good. Unexpectedly, 3 years ago, I met my boyfriend in the most random place. It was just the two of us, chatting casually, just sharing our day-to-day lives and little updates. When we started to open up, it was surprise after surprise. Like, wow, wait, you too? We were so compatible and bonded so well. A year ago, we started dating. Both being divorcees, we understood where we were coming from, and in a way that gave us a safe space. We both had our fair share of challenges, and what I liked most is how calm and patient he is, and how well he communicates. He gave me that feeling of home. He became my home. We had planned to get married in court next year, but recently I found out I was pregnant and later got to know that we were expecting twins. For someone who's been battling PCOS for years and believed natural conception would be difficult, this felt nothing short of a miracle. We sat down, talked everything through, and decided to prepone the wedding. The plan was to do a court marriage a month later, but after my dad's persistent nagging to marry ASAP, we gave in, and tomorrow we're having a traditional temple wedding. I mean, it's whatever you want, I guess.
Whatever makes it easiest for everyone.
Yeah.
Whatever is okay with you.
Yeah,
and your partner.
I just didn't want you to do something that you like didn't want to do, but at the end of the day, it's like, again, it's whatever you and your partner want. And if this is okay with you, then, you know, do what's okay with you.
Whatever makes you happy. And
yeah.
It also seems like, all right, you know what? We're over the stress and let's just do this.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And Brehive says, I keep hearing PCOS. It's polycystic ovarian syndrome. It makes, you know, having kids a lot harder is one of the things. My in-laws are so nice. His family has welcomed me with so much warmth. And after the news of the twins, we're all overwhelmed with happiness. Both of us are super excited to start this new chapter of our lives. Right now, I'm just sitting silently in the stillness around me, reflecting on everything I've gone through in the last 5 years. The pain, the healing, and somehow I'm here about to marry someone I love while carrying our babies. It feels surreal how life unfolded. Out of nowhere, I've been blessed with everything. I'll be married again, we'll become parents after a few months, and I can't stop gushing about it. I'm so grateful that life gave me a second chance in love. And you guys have infinite chances to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to the story. Do you have any final thoughts?
It's the all's well and ends well kind of thing, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like, great. You know what? Everyone, it's like, let's just take a deep breath, step back, relax, and like, let's work through this. It looks like it's all working out.
Yeah.
Sure, you know, your dad was a little bit annoying, but I think, again, out of love and...
Oh, absolutely. Which is, yeah.
And good luck to you. Good luck to your marriage. Good luck to your children. Twinning. Crazy.
Yeah. Comments. Additional details from OP in comments. OP says, thanks a lot. I got divorced at 31. Life after the divorce was a bit lonely, but it was still far better than my married life. I mainly focused on myself, traveled a lot, grew in my career, and evolved as a person. What led me to take that decision was the constant disrespect, lack of emotional connection, and my ex's severe anger issues. He was a self-absorbed person, and I gave him a fair chance to seek therapy and work on his anger, but he didn't. Final call was when I gifted him a watch, and he threw it an hour later. I was done living with a violent man under the same roof, so I asked for a divorce. There was so much peace in my life after I left him. I had to start from scratch to rebuild myself, but thankfully I never gave up on my career, and that supported me through thick and thin. Whereas my boyfriend had a very different story. He and his ex-wife had major compatibility issues. Later, she also told him that she didn't want kids. Well, he absolutely did. So they separated amicably. Both of them are good people, just not compatible. When I met my boyfriend, my perception of divorced men changed. Earlier, my interactions with divorced men on AM had been disappointing. Of course, I'm not generalizing, but after seeing so many bad apples, I was cautious. I'm so glad he proved me wrong. And as sweet as he is, life gave him the sweetest surprise of becoming a dad too. Seeing his excitement and the way he's taking care of me, I'm sure that he's going to be a wonderful dad. That's lovely. I feel like I guess it all just worked out.
Yeah. I think it was just, again, high stress.
Yeah.
With everything
Everyone was
going on.
stressed. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,